What's up, everyone?
What's in one?
Love our sports podcast. The New York Football Giants. Love that.
All right. What's up, everybody? This is episode number 16 of Fourth and One, a sports podcast. Fourth and One is presented to you by YMI Nerd Podcast Network, where everyone is a nerd about something. My name is Sean Farrell, and sitting opposite of me is the golden voice of podcasting, Matt Ferreira.
How's it going?
And joining our misery of being NFC East fans is Ant the Statesman. Ant the Statman.
The Statesman, I love it.
Inside joke from the Instagram account. And when he posted that, I actually noticed it, and I was gonna type something, but he always has a couple typos here and there, so I was just like, you know what?
Just let it fly.
And then 2 minutes later, you text him.
I know, because I knew he'd be probably pissed off that you did that.
But I'm adding a little new feature in here. I think we're just to
Ooh.
review the episode, and it lets me easier for me to make a description for it. But on this episode, we will be taking a break from trivia to let Matt breathe after his devastating loss last week. We will be
Listen. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, if I didn't hate Ohio State enough before, not only does, and we're going to get into this deeper later, but this needs to be known. So I get fucked over in trivia because I lost. I lose to Miami Cameron James with his team titled the Ohio State Buckeyes. And part of the reason I lose is because former piece of shit Buckeye, fucking Michael Thomas, decides to have his worst game of the season and get hurt. The one time I've ever drafted him.
Horrible. Talk about karma, huh?
Yeah, fuck Ohio State. Ugh.
We haven't said it enough. You haven't ever heard it. You're going to hear it a lot on this podcast.
I don't know. Yeah, to our dear listeners, I don't know if you're aware of this. I absolutely hate Ohio State. I don't know if anybody's aware, but just to put that out there to give good background for the show, I'm a big Michigan fan here. So
Huge Michigan fan.
We will also be discussing fantasy football, as you heard there, NFL Week 1, the return to the Big Ten, the NBA playoffs, and we will pick our 2021 NFL Hall of Fame class, which was released today. We're the eligible people, which is interesting. So other than that, Matt got into it a little bit. What have you been up to besides losing fantasy football?
I was going to say
we all lost here. We're all losers in this.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm actually happy Cam's not here because he was the only one that won out.
Oh my God, and we never would hear the end of it. We would I personally wouldn't.
And so he had Zeke and Gallup left, right? And then you only had Broncos defense and someone else.
I got smacked early in that game. I remember I looked after the 1 o'clock. I was like,
he texted me Sunday. He's like, your team better not fuck me up. I'm like, dude, you have a huge lead, and you have a running back and a wide receiver, a top running back.
Yeah.
He only has a defense, and I think you had a running back. I was like, come on, man.
It's like
Dan Jones. Sorry, Dan Jones.
We had a discussion. He almost went back to Daniel in that game.
Almost. But you know what? All things considered, he didn't play. He had one really, 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 really bad play. Yeah. Outside of that, I didn't hate what I saw.
You can hear more about that on Dimes a Dozen following this podcast.
Yes, you can. There'll be
I guess our first game episode will be released. I took the loss to Sports is Told by a Girl. She had a strong performance.
Yes, she did.
I put up some points. Week 1, I like my team still, but it's never good to start with a loss. We're in the hole.
Yeah.
Snacks McGuigan got smacked. Ant got smacked. I got smacked.
Sure did.
The Finns dude lost to Washington Dave. He got smacked. Yep. And Miami Cam is just sitting up there by himself with that 1-0 record.
Well, who's discount Double Chub?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who that is. That might be the neighbor, one of our last minute add-ons.
The neighbor.
Yeah, because we did have that issue.
Yeah, that's who I lost to.
Yeah, what's our let's see here. I actually, when I typed in to go to the league standings, I went to Yahoo first, and then I was like, fuck Yahoo.
Yeah, I'm so mad at them because I removed the original league from my list of running leagues that I'm in, and it still pops up.
I beat you in that league.
Did you?
But I actually play discount Double Chub currently in the next matchup. Let's see what we got here. I know.
Shit, we got to set lineups again
Washington
already.
Dave, he had a great game.
Oh, no.
Richard Hugler.
Oh, just got a breaking news update here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think that's his name. Breaking news update. Jacob deGrom just left the Mets game early with an apparent injury. So it's give and take for the Mets. So Wilpons finally sell, and then deGrom gets hurt. Let's just hope, fingers crossed, hand to God, that it's nothing too serious, because that is just awful.
I mean, I know I was listening to the radio today, and they kind of made the rest of his schedule so he could get 5 more starts, so he could lock in that Cy Young award in the NL. So hopefully it's nothing too bad. But like at this point, you can't let anything happen to that guy's arm.
Yeah, pretty much. Keep it on ice. It's got to be like the hand model in Zoolander. He's got to be in a protective case the entire time.
So there are 2 divisions here, which I didn't realize. And me and the Giant Killer are not in you and Miami Cam's division.
Uh-oh.
So this should be an interesting. You have Washington Dave and Miami Cam, 2 of your arch nemesis in that division.
Boy. This is going to be a rough one.
And you have the Timmy Whalen, also a contributor to the show, who lost.
Who I watched the week 1 game with. So shout to Timmy. Actually, shout to Timmy's wife's meatballs. She makes these amazing like buffalo chicken meatballs, and I still have some left in my fridge somehow. I don't know
episode
how I
title is now Timmy's wife's meatballs. So hopefully he listens to this.
You better.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm in 3 other leagues, and I won in all 3 of those leagues.
Nice.
I lost in our league, the league that matters. So I'm looking at that punishment draft. I wish we didn't do it, but
yeah, I know. Now I'm like at this point, because now I'm now running the risk. I think did I have the lowest points overall? I think I had the worst week of anyone. So I'm running the risk of losing not only my personal side bet with Cameron about who finishes higher in the league, but I would have the punishment draft on top of that. So I am not excited.
You actually did not.
You're not. You're the third. You're the 3rd lowest.
All right, I'll take that. Take that all day.
Tua legit to quit. Finn's dude was the lowest, and Pat McGuigan was 2nd lowest.
And then right above you is Ant, and then right above him is me. So we're not. All right. We're not looking that great.
Bottom feeders.
Yeah. I mean, King, and then Tim Whalen's above me. So. Bottom feeders. That we might have to change one of our teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what's your strategy now that Michael Thomas is out? Like, it's a shock. That's when you lose a 1st-round pick.
That's a painful one, and
it's devastating.
And like my personal strategy when drafting is I almost never take a receiver in the 1st round unless I'm at the very end of the draft, and I can kind of edge it up because running backs are so rare to get like a really good one. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me throw caution to the wind here. Grab Michael Thomas with what was I 6th? I think I was 6
You
or
were
7.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
You were 6.
So took him there. I was like, what's the worst that could happen? And the answer was this. So he's on the block. If anyone is willing to wait for Michael Thomas, I will accept running backs. I will accept charcuterie at this point. I just think
discount double chub hit you up in the group chat. He's sliding behind you.
And then it was followed up quickly by Miami Cam with his offer of Antonio Brown.
Why? So, I don't know why is he still on Miami Cam's roster?
Probably.
That's a waste. That's a waste of a roster space.
He dropped Adrian Peterson though, and he got signed.
He dropped Adrian Peterson?
I'm almost positive Adrian Peterson is available.
Hold on a second here.
Matt's gonna make a last minute pick here.
Yep. Waivers did clear.
Someone might have picked them up.
Someone probably did. Someone definitely did. The top available running back is Peyton Barber, which, ew.
Yes. MCMA picked him up, whoever the abbreviation for that team.
Yeah. I hate when that happens. I'm like, I don't know who this is.
You got to expect, just based on how people draft and how like inviting these people that were going to participate, it's going to be tough to pick certain people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's on top. Everyone's on top of their game. Because since the waiver wire, actually, there was a lot of waiver wire action.
I'm not shocked by that at all.
And then since the waiver wire, there's already been a couple moves made. Ohio State Buckeyes added Frank Gore.
I got a little tinge every time. Every time I just hear the name, I just get angry.
I know. I should go in here. Actually, you're the commissioner. You can change his name to Miami Cam and see if he notices.
That would actually be really funny.
We should do that right now and see if he listens to this episode. But other than that, Ant, what were you doing for the big game on Sunday night?
I made some wings in the air fryer.
Ooh, how'd those come out?
Oh, amazing. They're so good.
Buffalo?
Yeah, went Buffalo. But other than that, we just sat home, watching on my couch.
Yeah, speaking of losses, we're all in that loss column as well, where we can pull off the win. I'm surprised to see the Washington football team sitting in first place there. What are
that defensive line?
I was just about to say that.
Which, I think we mentioned this before. We mentioned this in the preview show that it's scary.
You've talked about it.
Yeah, and I was not expecting 8 sacks. I never say this about Eagles players, but poor Carson Wentz. My God.
I hope Deshaun Jackson's okay. I hope Deshaun Jackson's okay. I never said that before.
Well, I don't know what they're planning on working him in slowly into the offense. There was a lot of kind of weird, mysterious coaching decisions, I feel like, this past week. That was just why are you doing this?
Yeah. Well, you got to think, though, we could talk about just week 1 in general, is there was no preseason.
Yeah.
So you're going to see things. People are still trying to work things out. They didn't get that actual game time to see who could do what and kind of work the rosters out that way. Did I miss the preseason? Somewhat, but I think this shows that they could probably do more regular season games.
Which I'm okay with, yeah.
And I think they have that approved already, right?
I think they did.
They are doing 18 weeks.
I actually think they did. Okay, so here we go. While we're on here, what are we changing his team name to? I'm inviting bad karma by doing this, but whatever. Fuck it.
Whatever. You already lost to him.
Yeah, true. I mean,
if I play him and I lose, then we'll have to change it to whatever he wants again. No, he'll change it back.
He'll definitely change it back. He's going to call collusion. We're all going to get a text message. We're going to get something CC'd by his lawyer.
He's probably watching this live right now somehow.
When we went to the comic book store, he's outside our windows. When we went to the comic book store over the weekend, I was like, oh, this player's out. I picked up his backup. He's like, you picked up his backup already? Collusion. The league is fixed. I was like, come
on. We should make it Miami Cam's something. I don't know though. Ant, what do you got? Come on, throw us some ideas here.
Miami Cam. Collusers.
He's not going to get it. He'll get the Miami Cam part.
Yeah.
I mean, he has so many nicknames now at this point.
He really does. Every week it's something new.
I forget what you gave him last week. Cam D Newton or something. I forget what it was.
What other things just from the NFL in general? Is there anything you guys were surprised by in week 1? I guess I was surprised by the Redskins being the Eagles. I mean,
yeah,
they kind of dominated them in the second.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles did have. I spoke with Washington.
Sorry, Washington football team.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. I did talk to Washington Dave actually during that game we were texting, and he was like, as excited as I am, they're missing a lot of pieces on offense. A lot of their offensive line was out. Miles Sanders was out. They have 0 receivers. So yeah, that's a factor, but I still think that defensive line would have been putting in work, even if you take down half the sacks. If you took half the sacks away by saying they had their full offensive line, that's still 4 sacks in one game. That's still a lot for a quarterback to absorb, and that's still he's running for his life the whole time.
Yeah, I was. I definitely tuned into Tampa Bay, New Orleans, see what TB12 had, and he started off hot, and then it kind of just unraveled after that.
Yeah,
I actually kind of felt bad for him a little bit, but it's a long season, so we'll see. I mean, the Saints are a really good team. They have a good defense.
It's very true. They have a very underrated defense, but I'm wondering what they're going to do on offense now. Without who are they going to rely? They go, I guess, straight Kamara.
Yeah, I mean, they have Emmanuel Sanders. But he's, he can't dominate a game. They're definitely going to spread the ball around a lot. I think you'll see a lot of Kamara out of the backfield.
Do you think Drew Brees still has the arm strength and just the youth and longevity to make it through a full season without his most reliable target? Because I think this might be I don't want to say decimal season, but I think we might see the end of a couple of more legendary quarterbacks after this year. I think we might be looking at the end of Tom Brady. We were probably looking at the end of Ben Roethlisberger, because even though they beat us, he was still limping off the field after a few of those plays. So I really don't think he makes it all the way through. And you can say the same for Drew Brees at this point, because the
Philip
Saints are in
Rivers
win now
loses
mode.
to the Jaguars.
Yeah. I mean, he's in a better position than the other guys. So I think if anyone kind of makes it through the season from that earlier class, it's probably him. But a lot of these guys, we're looking at a changing of the guard here.
Were you surprised by the Jets' performance?
I feel bad. Apologies to all of our Jets fans, listeners. We love you guys, but Adam Gase has to go. Yeah. Like, honestly, for the amount of talent on that team, how is it week 2 and Le'Veon Bell is on IR? Like,
apparently, I don't know if this is true. Apparently, he was like, "Hey, coach, my hamstring's hurting," and he was like, "Ah, man, you're staying in the game."
That's bad. And like in favor of Frank Gore, who, no disrespect to Frank Gore, guy's going to the Hall of Fame, but what? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that?
Kalen Ballage is still available.
Kalen Ballage, like, no, I don't trust Kalen Ballage. He got kicked off Miami. No disrespect to Miami either, but like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, when I turned that game on and they were just getting dominated by Josh Allen, and he fumbled the ball 2 times on drives, and the score could have been way worse. Sam Darnold just looked awful.
Yeah, he really did. But I mean, that's on the coach. The coach should have the team prepared. I think Sam Darnold in the right situation isn't that bad. Like, honestly, as we're going to get into how the Giants did shortly, and then even more on Dimes a Dozen following this, but I think the Jets have a very similar team to the Giants. And all things considered, young quarterback, talented running back, relatively new coaching staff, revamped offensive line. They just can't get out of their own way, and that's because of Adam Gase.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to make a move on. I mean, I think it could happen during the season if this is how they started off. Like, I can only imagine where they.
I hope it's for every Jets fan I know, my dad included. I hope it's a very short lease that Gase has.
Whoa! Your dad is a Jets fan?
My dad's a Jets fan. My dad has a brutal assortment of teams. He's Mets, Nets, and Jets. I don't know if he just loved the fact that they all rhymed. The only team I took from him is, I mean, I don't hate the Nets by any means. I'll root for the Nets, but the Mets are the only team I really kind of ride with, of his selections there, and even that's brutal.
I mean, I don't have a note. We don't have a note on this, but speaking about the Mets, new ownership. Are you ready to actually possibly make some decent moves that are baseball?
It just doesn't even. It's not going to feel real until next season when I actually see them take the field. It's like, but what a breath of fresh air! Like, talk about something that needed to happen, and it's, they faked this out before the Wilpons. They had that whole like, oh, we're going to sell, but you'll own the team, but we will make all the ownership decisions for like 2 years. I'm like, why would anyone do that? That's like buying a new car, but you can't drive it. Like, it makes no sense. So I'm glad they finally, reneged and let it go, and cheers to the new ownership. I'm just ready to go.
I hear you on that. All right, before we get into some of our questions and games, Matt, where can they find us?
All right, you ready, everyone? On Instagram, you can find us at Why Am I a Nerd Official? That's WHYAM, letter I, A Nerd Official. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Why Am I a Nerd? Same way I just spelled it, WHY. We're on Twitter at 4th and 1 Pod. That's the number 4, THANDWON Pod. Please like, rate, subscribe, and review us. 5 stars, as always, is greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated. All right, we have a little game-type discussion here, little word association. We're going to describe these Week 1 quarterbacks in 1 or 2 words. We all are participating, so because we put your boy Dak on there. Big Ant, the statesman.
The statesman.
So we'll start with Matt. Number 1, Joe Burrow.
Game changer.
Okay.
I would go with game changer. Oh, sorry. Was it supposed to be one word? Is game changer one word? Is it hyphenated?
It could be. I put 1 or 2 because usually when you play a type of game like this, someone's like, "Great quarterback." They're like, "Oh, that's 2 words." So no, game changer. I like that.
I think
mine for would be rookie because I think he looked like, from compared to LSU. I don't know if you saw that meme of it's like 2019 Joe Burrow of him smoking a cigar.
Uh-huh.
And then
I didn't see that.
2020 Joe Burrow, he's like looking up at the like the scoreboard. His hair's like all a mess. It's great.
I'm gonna look that up
But
right
yeah,
now.
but like it's a typical like week 1 of a rookie quarterback for me. What about you, Ant?
Yeah, I mean, I think he did well. If I had to describe him in 1 or 2 words, I like Matt's game changer, but I would say underdog. I feel like that. What was he, a 23-yard touchdown run he had?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's why I said game changer because I was like that was promising. He can really change things for that team. But sorry, I didn't cut off here.
Yeah, no, it's all right. And then the last drive, he drove him down the field to make the field goal, but they missed the field goal. So
Speaking of missing field goals, Steven Gostkowski, what the fuck happened there? I saw actually, speaking of memes, there's a really funny Bill Belichick one where it's like when you send your kicker to fuck over the team who ruined your dynasty. Because I'm like, what do you have, like 4 misses?
yeah, it was something.
I would have pulled him after the third one. I'd be like, bro, you're done. Put the punter in there like almost anybody else. That's insane.
Let's go to our number 2 guy here. The future of the New York Football Giants, Sir Daniel Jones, Dan Dimes.
Promising. I'm going to say promising because aside from that one play, we were looking at, they would drop, and again, we're going to get into this more later, but, he would drop back to hand the ball up to Saquon, and as soon as Saquon had both hands on the ball, there were 2 defenders right on him. So these guys were under constant pressure, constant duress the entire night, and he looked, for the most part, poised. He had that whole drive that was, 91 yards or something like that?
Yeah, it was a crazy drive.
Yeah, made it all the way down the field, and then right at the very end makes that really stupid toss it up play. So aside from that, I think he looked good. I really think they would have won the game if he had done that. So it's tough for me to say more or less than that. I think he shows promise. He just needs to continue to grow and hopefully capitalize on it, get back to dime status there.
Yeah, I'll say improved just based on the fact that he was getting crushed back there. And for the most part, he held on to the ball. I mean,
yeah,
that's a big difference from last year.
Very true.
He was getting smoked last year. He had ridiculous amount of fumbles.
Even that one pick by TJ Watt, I was like, I can't even be mad at him for that. Like, watch us make a play on the ball.
We were texting about it too, and when you were like, he's getting crushed, I was like, like he's holding on to the ball. He had to have worked on that. That had to be something like that needed to be addressed. Go ahead, Ann. Give us your word association for Sir Dan Dimes.
Leading rusher.
Thank you. Okay.
22 yards, I think he had rushing. Led the Giants.
You know what? Let's see what happens when you guys are up against them later this year. Because it's that. I mean, granted, your offensive line is better than ours, but they're no joke. Bud Dupree was everywhere, and he's a free agent next year. I wouldn't mind seeing the Giants kind of make a move on that.
Yeah, he was just running into a brick wall every time he got the ball.
Yeah. But like I said it, Sean, I think I might have texted this to you too. I was like, just pitch the ball to him. Get him on any other kind of thing where he's already moving. Send him on a wheel route, anything where you get Saquon in motion, then get him the ball. He's going to do work. And then I said that out loud at Timmy's house. And then as soon as I did, they finally pitched it off to him. He had that 32-yard run. I was like, see? It's like when you get him outside, he's fine. They just stop running him up the gut.
But, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about more. I don't want to learn my whole rant and down.
No.
Baker Mayfield, I'll say disappointed. I mean, I can't believe that. I had way higher expectations for him for that first game to just do something, and they just came out so flat. I mean, I know they're playing the Ravens, but still, after last year, you thought that things were going to change.
Yeah, come out hot. Like, you knew what the Ravens are, you know?
Right.
I mean, I'll agree with you. I'm going to say underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Flat. Straight flat. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
it killed our boy OBJ, who we have a question about later, but
Ooh.
I don't know.
I was trying not to read too many of the questions in the script. I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to come off, fresh for it.
All right, Matt. How about some Jimmy G?
Okay. I'm never like hot or cold on him. He's just, if I'm underwhelmed by Baker Mayfield, I'm just whelmed by Jimmy G. He never does anything for me either way. He's just like, all right. Like,
I would just say he's like a field general. Like, he's not there to wow you. He just does what he has
what needs to be done. Yeah.
To keep the team in the game. I mean, they rely on their defense for a lot, their rushing game. He's really not asked to do that much. I mean, they don't really have, besides, Kittle, who's now possibly out maybe this week.
Yeah, he might be out for a little bit.
They don't really have that threat.
Yeah.
Something with, I think it's his knee, right?
Yeah, I thought so too, but I was like, it wasn't like an ACL. It might have been an MCL sprain.
Yeah, it's his knee. He fully not practicing, but fully expects to play week 2.
All right.
So, I mean, he's currently sidelined with a knee sprain.
Do either of you have Kittle in any leagues?
I don't.
No, I do not. But I did play him in my FanDuel, which didn't end up well because I played him and Marlon Mack, who both got hurt.
Yeah, that was. I have Mack.
Yeah,
that's rough.
And I'm not that I'm happy Mack got hurt, but I did draft Jonathan Taylor in a couple leagues, and I think it's gonna be full on Jonathan Taylor mode.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Nyheim Hines is going to have a pretty big role in that offense too. But Jonathan Taylor's definitely, if you're going to pick one of the two.
They're saying, like, with Phillip Rivers, everyone thought that it was the Chargers' offense, but he generally just throws to the running back like a ridiculous amount of time. So Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, whoever he's had as a running back has caught the ball, or he's had one guy that catches the ball consistently, and the other guy runs it. So, well, I guess we'll find out in the next game with the Colts, but should be interesting. How about Cam Newton? I'll say yellow suit.
I saw him come out in the suit, and the first thing I thought of was the mask. The second thing was Dick Tracy. Like, who?
Did he say anything about it? Like, what it was supposed to be? Because
I'm honestly not sure. I don't.
If you look at his shoes, they also had like the comic type, like Bam, I think, on them.
Oh, really? Maybe it was a mask reference.
Or it said Cam or Bam, but it was in like comic text, like you would see on like the old Batman show, and so I don't know if it was. I wouldn't be surprised if it was either of those. I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah, it does say Bam.
Yeah,
I noticed that before. How about that?
It says he indicated that the suit itself was symbolic, given the ups and downs that Newton has had over the past couple of years. The symbolism seemed a bit fitting as he began his tenure with the Patriots. We came up with yellow because we felt as if it was some ways Resurrection Sunday. Another kind of notion to the outfit, we wanted it to kind of be like caution tape, yellow and black. Get prepared and aware. Boogie is back.
Huh.
Well, as long as he stops stealing outfits from his grandma, I guess, like with the like, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching like some 1920s like gangster film where they're in like a lounge watching like someone sing, like piano. But what do you think? What's your association with them for this week?
Welcome back. It seemed like a little vintage performance from him there. So that's what I got for him. Welcome back. That's he's
do you want your Jason DeGrom injury status? He has a right hamstring spasm.
Okay. Not that I'm excited about that, but it's not his arm. Like it's
not his bread and butter.
Yep.
What about you, Ant? Cam Newton? Anything ring a bell?
Yeah, I think great. I'm gonna say great. I think it looked great. He was running the ball, got in the end zone a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much he ran the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was
definitely
leading
designed
rusher there for the Patriots that game. So, I mean, if he keeps it up, actually, let me change that. Happy. I don't know if you guys saw him, but he just looked so happy. Like on the
Yeah, things
sidelines,
were
like
just getting better for him
dancing.
overall.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked finally,
And he's probably going to be smiling a lot being on the Patriots because they're probably going to compete to win that division this year. They're going to win some games, especially when you get to play the Dolphins and the Jets.
yeah.
So how about number 6? This one, I don't know. Big Ben. What do you think, Matt? What's your
Last legs. I don't think he has. I mean, I think he played well once he got used to playing again, but I don't think he's long for this league. I really just don't think he's cut out for it anymore.
Did anyone see the Barstool picture of him with like the arm brace on? It's like me after I get Pornhub premium.
Yeah, I did see that.
I did not see that. That's really funny.
That's like a mega arm brace.
Yeah, it was nuts. He looked like freaking Mega Man out there. Like he was about to start blasting something.
I know, Matt, you sent me the Joe Judge breaks down the film on YouTube earlier. I believe Big Ben has a 3-part documentary you can watch on YouTube of his comeback from his injury last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't think he's played the whole season, but my words would be like he's back. Like it's they've been waiting for this. You saw last year when they lost him how much it affected the team. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't do shit last year because I had him in fantasy. 2 touchdowns. I know the Giants obviously don't have the best defense, but they're back to running their offense through him. When you change that quarterback, I mean, there's something about Big Ben that they can run their system through him like perfectly. So that also gives me hope as a Giants fan because they didn't look too bad against them. But.
No, they really didn't. Like all things considered, the Giants were up until that last toss. It really kind of broke their backs. The Giants were alive in that game. I don't think we were that far off from winning, and I will still stand by our 9-7. I'll stand by that until we lose 8 games.
How about Tom Brady? And kick us off here.
Sad.
Sad?
Sad. I think all he had was that first drive. Then he punched it in from the 1, and then it was just downhill from there. Even on the sidelines, he just looked sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, speaking of memes, there was one of him yelling, and it was like,
yeah,
they put like a wig or something on.
Oh my God! Wait, yeah. There's another one. I just sent you guys one of Cam Newton, but there's another one of Tom Brady that I also have that I forgot to send over, where it's him crying, but in the Buccaneers outfit, and it's just I'm gonna go with
that's good.
I'm going to go with upsetting for Tom Brady just because, for as much as people hate this guy, he went down there to kind of prove that it wasn't all Bill Belichick winning for him. So he's like, I'll go to a place where I have weapons. It'll be easy. I can sling the ball, but I don't know if they're conducive to his normal play style. So after 20-something years, he's got to try something totally different. And I don't know if I'm not going to say he's not talented enough to make that transition, but I don't know if he's young enough to do it comfortably. So it's only week 1, but he's got some things to figure out there.
Yeah, I agree. I would say underwhelming. Like it kicked off with a bang, and then it kind of really just like
that was it.
Went down. There was nothing going on. Like I had that game on, and I was kind of just watching it because I was playing against Kamara in a league, and I was just watching what he was going to do. But other than that, like it was underwhelming for me. Like I liked to see him do well in the beginning, and then. The only thing I'll give them is, they did play the Saints. Maybe the Saints defense is a top 10 defense. Maybe they don't have these preseason games to play against. Maybe he needs to build chemistry. Their offensive line did not look that great either.
Yeah.
He was getting a lot of pressure on him. I don't know if it seemed like he was taking a little longer to throw the ball than he usually does too. So maybe that is a chemistry thing.
That might be, yeah, that's true. He definitely, well, I guess he's also throwing further downfield, so that takes a little bit of extra, to work up to, because if he's used to dump offs to the running backs or to Edelman, they're, 10 yards in front of him. So maybe that's a factor too, is that throwing to Godwin and Evans takes a little bit considerable more effort.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what he does this week. Who does Tampa Bay have this week?
The Buccaneers have. I actually have the schedule up right here. They have the Panthers.
All right, so
that'll be.
their defense is terrible. If he doesn't do anything this week, then I think there's cause for concern.
I agree with that.
But our next guy here, Derek Carr. I mean, not that I don't have words for Derek Carr. I would just say like dark horse because I think no one's thinking about the Raiders right now, really. You know, they're
I agree.
The Las Vegas Raiders, we should say. And that guy, he's been the starting quarterback, it seems like now forever. And he was super hyped up, and then he kind of came downhill a little bit. And now, you know, they have a solid team around him, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of noise they can make with Derek Carr.
Yeah, my words for him are kind of similar to yours. I'm like, oh yeah, because like I feel like I routinely forget about Derek Carr. You know, all the hype there is around Josh Jacobs. I mean, and rightfully so. Jacobs had a great game, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. They have Derek Carr, who has somehow been in the league for what, like 7 years now.
Yeah,
like he's just to me very quiet, like very forgettable, and I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. It's certainly not a knock on him. It's just hasn't really done anything recently.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. I mean, it's kind of like he's like under the, you know, you could use under the radar as a word because like no one's that worried about him. I mean, they are going to have to play, I guess, a tougher schedule if they are in the Panthers. So that they started with an easy game to get kicked off, but they will have to play, I'm assuming, Tampa Bay. You know, the Saints go through that whole tangent, the Falcons. So we'll see what happens with them, but you know, it'll be interesting to see. Here's one I was excited to talk about. Mitchell Trubisky. Is he the future Dallas Cowboys quarterback?
Mitchell Trubisky?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He could be. I mean, I know he led the Bears over the Lions. That's not really saying too much.
I mean, the Lions dominated a lot of that game, too.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? I think it was a fourth quarter,
It was insane. He's never – my word would be mirage. I don't think it's real. It's not real. There's no way.
Week one.
Season.
Yeah, I mean, can I use – oh, sorry.
No, I'm saying, like, he had 242, 3 touchdowns. He's not going to have 3 touchdowns again.
Especially not next week.
Ha. Damn right. He's going down. They better get Foles ready because they're going to need to bring him in. No, let me stop. Can I use 3 words? They're all short.
Let's do it.
What the fuck? Like, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I looked at that stat line. I was like, Mitch Trubisky. I'm like, am I reading this right? Like, is that – it was shocking to me. I couldn't believe it because the Lions were up that whole game up until just – so.
All right. We're ending with the showstopper here.
Ooh.
And kick us off with Dak Prescott. What do you have to say about your man?
I mean, it's hard to say because we lost, but improved, I think. I think he looked good. I think regardless of the outcome of the game, I didn't pull up his stats, but I think he's proven. I mean, week one, like you said, no preseason, so they couldn't do much, but I like what I'm seeing. I do.
I mean, I like him more than I like Zeke. He doesn't have a belly tattoo.
What is that? So weird.
What is that?
So weird.
Like when he reaches his final Ewok form, man, he's gonna look completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say about Dak, my words would be under pressure, just from like a contract situation.
I got the song right. Doon, 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 under pressure.
Slam poetry. But no, because I feel like he is feeling that pressure of that contract. Like this is his year to, prove himself to make that money. And if they're losing games, that's going to be a knock against him. Now, it's week one. He definitely has more winnable games. The Rams actually looked improved from, last year, obviously, after they, kind of botched it after their Super Bowl run. But what do you think, Matt?
Another 3-worder is throw to Gallup. Gallup was my sleeper, wide receiver this year, and he underwhelmed a little bit. So that's for that.
He got that big call.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So that's a major factor in there too.
Huge.
But there's, room for improvement, obviously, but he didn't play poorly. I'll put it that way.
All right, let's get into some questions. And as always, we'll have you read the questions.
Sure.
The NFL questions pertain to all of us in some way or form. And let's read that first one about your boys.
Yeah. Cowboys lose Jarwin and Van Der Esch and lost to Rams. How much will these injuries hurt their playoff hopes?
Go ahead, Ant. Give us your expert opinion here.
I mean, Van Der
Are you
Esch
worried?
on our defense. I mean, we still have Jalen Smith in there. Sean Lee, who's always injury ridden, just
How
had
old is
surgery.
Sean Lee now?
You have Alden Smith.
Alden Smith, he had a
Straight
great
outta-
game. Great
Straight out of
comeback.
5 years out of the league or something
Yeah,
like that.
he had a great game. How old is Sean Lee, you said?
Yeah. Because that's exactly what I was about to bring up because I feel like he's always hurt and you guys always adjust, but he's got to be
34.
I was gonna say he's got to be like 50, so close enough.
My wife is a huge Penn State fan, and she has a picture with Sean Lee when he was at Penn State, and she was probably in high school. So I was gonna say he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's 34. And then Jarwin, he was our up and coming tight end, taking over a Witten spot. I mean,
that's unfortunate. I thought Jarwin was gonna have a really big year.
Yeah, I feel like we just have other players that can fill those spots, those voids for now. I think depends how long their injuries go. Yeah. And then, but I don't think it'll ruin their playoff hopes right now.
I think your offense is still explosive and your defense is still serviceable. Like you said, there's a lot of guys that can apply pressure.
Yeah.
It definitely hurts to not have those guys. Now, if you have a couple more injuries, then I think you're kind of then you're talking about losing wins. But Jarwin, you didn't know what he was going to be. He was hyped up for sure, and Van Der Esch was solid. So I mean, it definitely hurts. But I still think in that division, with how everyone else performed, I think it's still obtainable to even get to make the playoffs at least.
And now I'm just seeing Awuzie and Jordan Lewis are hurt. And
NFL, man,
Cooper.
You gotta have depth, man. These guys are hurt all the time.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Now let's go to number 2 here.
What's going on with the Giants O-line?
So I can't even say it was on the full line because Andrew Thomas, if you looked very closely at him, Thomas didn't play poorly. It looked like a lot of pressure came from the right-hand side.
I think Thomas played the best out of everybody.
Well,
which is good.
Oh yeah. And then the other very big issue is that a lot of times, and I don't know who this is on, but it seemed like Bud Dupree just came out of nowhere, completely unguarded, just flew across the field and was just always right there, behind the line of scrimmage, ready to fuck something up. So I mean, there was no answer for him. It seemed like nobody was ready to pick up that blocker and. That's something they definitely have to figure out. Like, God forbid, we get lucky and make it to the playoffs. That would be what dooms us, is just send the pass rush. So,
yeah, I would say 50-50 on as far as the run game's concerned. The Steelers knew what the Giants were going to do. So they were going to send the house no matter what. Now, the O-line definitely could have blocked better, but I just think there was they knew what the Giants were going to do. They're going to run their offense through Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
They were going to let Daniel Jones pass. That's what their game plan was. Stop the run, let them throw the ball. And, it ended up working out for the Steelers. So I don't know if it's it's a new offensive line, a new system. I know sometimes with offensive line, continuity is good. Having people that have played together for a longer time adds to the strength of your team. So I think every game you're going to see them get better, hopefully, if they're going to improve. And the first game against the best defense, it's tough. I think it's tough to judge them off that one game.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that.
I'm just hoping for improvement. Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right. Obviously, affecting our man Matt here. And what's the third question?
How bad will Michael Thomas's injury hurt the Saints' offense?
Yeah, it's gonna
How
be.
much will it
I mean,
hurt Matt's fantasy team? Is the real
a
question.
lot is the answer for my fantasy team.
I mean, enough for him to drop him, right?
He's on the block. He's on the block. Just someone give me a running back and something else. He's yours. It's going to be tough for them, I think, because he's such a target hog. You know, you're talking hundreds of well, not hundreds, but over 100 targets just gone, completely vacated. So something's got to happen there. Somebody's got to kind of pick up that slack. And I don't know if they really have someone who's capable of doing it. Like, who's going to step up? Traquan Smith? Like, I really don't know what they're going to do there. Like, it's going to be a lot on Kamara, and that puts them in kind of a one-dimensional zone where you can just kind of do what the Steelers did to Saquon to Kamara, and that's could be game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just, like you said, he just can command so much of that offense. That offense ran through him last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have some faith in Drew Brees and, Sean Payton that they could figure something else out. Maybe it makes them a little more unpredictable so they can spread the ball around, but it's tough to say. I mean, definitely doesn't help them.
Yeah.
That's a big piece to replace. You give the Giants a guy like that, their offense is completely different.
Oh my God. And the crazy thing is, we had the shot at him. I think we drafted Sterling Shepard before he got drafted, which is kind of crazy to think about.
I mean, I love Sterling Shepard, but come on.
Yeah, same.
But hey, that's different regime. So
very true.
All right, let's go to our last NFL question here, Ant.
OBJ reportedly on the trade block. Would you take him? And what are you offering?
I mean, yes, and maybe a second or third rounder. But I think I think if the Giants are targeting a wide receiver right now in a trade, I don't think it's going to be Beckham. But that's just my opinion. But we'll get to that in times it doesn't.
I would take him for a third round pick. I mean, we traded him and we got so much back. Everyone criticized us. He hasn't done anything for Cleveland.
I think that's a product of Cleveland's offense, so I don't think they're utilizing him very well. But
they said it was Eli Manning's fault.
Never blame Eli. Never blame Eli. Let that be a lesson to everyone out there. You never blame Eli Manning.
What if he comes back? Do you want the shit controversy in New York?
I don't know. It's a pretty big quagmire of a
situation.
Yeah, it's a little shitty. I don't think the New York media would let him live that down. I don't even think it's true. I really don't. I don't believe it's true. But like oh man, that sucks. That's really
But he's in Cleveland, so
yeah,
no one's going to talk about it there. So if he was in the media, he'd be more.
Yeah, it'd be done. He'd be like, well, what can I do? It would just be kind of a wrap for him.
He's already a Brown, so.
Yeah,
right? Man, I have seen a lot of fantasy team names situated around his acts.
His preferences, I guess.
Preferences, yeah. Personal choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would take him back, but I would love to just one up the Browns and be like, yeah, you gave us all this for him, and we only
we'll give you
a third rounder.
Yeah, be nice.
I mean, he's obviously not causing headaches there, so
no, he's not. I don't think that was ever the issue when he was in New York. I really don't. I think it was media based, turned the fan base against him, and he got kind of fed up with it, and he was sick of losing, which you also can't really blame the guy for.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about the Big Ten return. Matt's Michigan Wolverines versus the Cameron Miami James Buckeyes. Pac-12 also possibly coming back. Big Ten officially announced today that they are working on coming back end of October.
I mean, huge. I just hope they actually have player safety in mind, which I don't believe the NCAA does. I think they're just worried about making money. There were rumors that Michigan was actually what was holding up the Big Ten retaking the field, which I think is an Ohio State-based scandal. I think they came up with it because they're fucked and I hate them. But Needless to say, they're going to be back on the field. I'm excited to watch them play. I think this is going to be big for some of those fringe guys who are maybe going to get drafted, maybe going to go on to be travel agents. I don't know, like that in between of you. Do you make it or do you not? Do you get to play in the league? So for those guys, I'm excited. Overall, I don't know. They better have some kind of plan because it's going to spread like wildfire through the NCAA. The NFL can take a lot more precautions than they can.
Yeah. There are Ohio State players that have already said they're not playing, which could change up the league a lot, especially when they're big-time players because they're preparing for the draft. So
I'll
it'll
take
be
it. I mean,
interesting.
which also, as much as I fucking hate Ohio State, that does suck for anybody that already opted out because I don't think they can rescind it now, right? Like with the way the rules are.
I'm not sure what, like, if they officially sign something, they stop going to class, or like how they drop. I don't know how it works, but it's a good question. Maybe they can. Maybe they can. But let's get into some of these questions before we spoil some.
All right. Thoughts on the return of the last two Power 5 conferences returning to football, which we kind of
we talked about that a little bit. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Do you think that these conferences regret the decision to postpone?
I think they got so much heat for it, and that everyone else has started to play, and there haven't been issues except for maybe one or two teams that I think they probably do regret postponing, because it kind of puts I don't know if this actually ties into another question. I don't know if it puts them at an advantage or a disadvantage by starting later.
Yeah, I think this is a lot more of a it was the right decision at the time kind of thing. And like you said, they just got pressured and almost bullied by, fans and parents and players into kind of coming back. So I guess it is what it is. We're at where we're at. But, hey, I'm excited to watch football.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to number 3 here.
How will this return affect the playoffs? Pac-12 might not be eligible because of starting too late.
How is there an actual playoff this year? I kind of thought
I think there is. How it is even going to work with teams playing at all different times, I have no idea. Especially in the Big Ten, they're starting later. That means their season's going to run later into November, December. It's going to be freezing at those games. Like, how are they going to – I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how many games
are they going to have fans? How are they – I can't imagine they do.
I mean, Notre Dame allows the students and the faculty social distance into the stadium. Like we saw at the Chiefs game the other night on Thursday Night Football. Looked like they had a decent amount of fans in there. I think it depends on the state. I think probably you'll see like the SEC schools do it.
Oh, yeah.
The Midwest, maybe they just do students only. I'm not sure. I mean, those are big schools. You're talking, Michigan and Ohio State. You're talking some hundreds of thousands they can usually fit in the game. They can still, make money at the game somewhat. They don't want to lose that opportunity. So I think every school will probably have their own stance on what they're going to do applied to what the state's rules are.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't know. All right, let's go to the last one here, Anthony.
Will the teams who started in September have an advantage?
I don't know. I mean, they're only going to – well, here's the thing. The Big Ten's only going to play the Big Ten. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. So they're only going to play the teams that have started later. And by the time you get to the end of the season, if they are eligible to be in the playoff, which I'm assuming they will be, everyone's going to be about the same place.
Well, I say the only thing I could think of is actually it would be a disadvantage to start early if they do the playoffs, just because those teams, started in September, are going to have that much more wear and tear. Which they might get some rest in there too, but you run the risk of injuries for longer. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
So I was just reading about the Ohio State players opting back in, and it says. Even players who have signed with agents can go through the student-athlete reinstatement process to try and regain their eligibility.
Wow. It's bullshit you can't have an agent while you're still playing. Like, some of that's so ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yeah.
All right, the NBA Conference Finals is kicked off last night with the Celtics and the Heat. And, I think – there's something to be said about the Western Conference Finals because the Clippers blew it.
Yeah, how about that?
I was shocked. What do you
I
think
don't think
about
anybody saw that coming. Um,
So the
I thought it was gonna
Nuggets.
be LA for LA. Yeah, like seriously. So I guess, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think we're gonna see the Lakers progress, um, it, barring some kind of ridiculous upset. Uh, yeah, that's
which I mean
that's
they
what I
have
got.
been happening though.
Yeah, yeah, very true. I mean, we did just see it already. So
We saw it with the Bucks. We saw it with the Clippers, two teams who we thought, when we talked about the NBA originally, who I thought could be in the NBA Finals, and now they're both gone.
yeah, I mean,
So
imagine that a Heat Nuggets uh finals would be kind of crazy.
yeah, we can go to number one here. I guess just the Heat and Celtics kicking off the Eastern Conference Finals. Did you watch the game last night?
I did not. I missed it.
Did
I
you
was
see the
working late.
block? The block heard
No,
around the
I
world.
keep
I
hearing
did,
about this,
yeah.
but I did not see it. Let me just pull it up right now.
Yeah, you should. I mean, it was nice.
Yeah, the guy had stronger wrist strength than Miami Cam in high school. So
A lot of memes came out of that too. I don't know if
yeah,
you saw
his
it.
wrist was like bent backwards. I mean, it was just a great play, like to end the game. It was a hell of a block.
Mhm.
They're saying, one of the best blocks in playoff history. I
The
don't know if
Bam
it was.
Adebayo one, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, the Heat are surprising because you didn't hear anything about them all year at all. You got the Spurn Jimmy Butler coming from, all over the place.
Yeah,
Last,
I mean
last
he's
in Philly,
going
but
nuts.
I think the Celtics have a good shot just the way they've been playing. But, when you end a game like that, that could be a game changer as far as
Agreed.
momentum is concerned.
Where the hell can they just get to this damn block?
I couldn't find the Joe Burrow meme anymore either, too. I tried to look it up.
Mhm.
I don't know why. It just
Probably
disappeared.
on Barstool.
That's probably where I got to go.
They have everything. They posted the block, and it was the guy dunking. He said, "Me drunk texting my ex at 2 a.m." and the guy's hand saying, "My friend
Boys.
saving me."
I did see that one. What's everyone's thoughts on the Western Conference Finals? You got LeBron James
LeBron
versus
James.
the Denver Nuggets, who a homegrown team that have exceeded expectations. Still, I mean, they're still a solid team,
Mhm.
highly seeded. So, surprise. I mean,
Oh wow.
live look
Damn.
at the block.
Yeah, that is pretty baller right there. That was nice. Reminds me of LeBron against the Warriors a few years ago. That was nice. That was well done.
What do you think? What do you think is LeBron James? I saw some friend on Facebook wrote, so who are the Lakers going to beat in the NBA Finals? Because people are just giving them the title right now. Do you think it's that, black and white that they're going and they're going to win?
I think it's the Lakers have had their struggles here and there. I think Anthony Davis is going to be pretty pivotal to that. They just need to make sure they're eyes on the prize right here. Don't get distracted. I think LeBron's going to do his part. Obviously, he always does. He's familiar with this. He lives in the playoffs. You know what I mean? This guy has been to more finals in a row, I think, than anyone. So I think he knows what to do and how to get there. It's just a matter of making sure the rest of the team kind of has their head on their shoulders and doesn't get distracted now because they're being crowned so early.
Yeah. I don't know if, confidence wise, I don't think that even like will get into LeBron James' head. But, going back to the Clippers, who do you think is really to blame for their loss?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if
don't know.
LeBron James blew a series, you would hear about it forever.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard allegedly, being
Yeah.
the best player in basketball as well. I haven't heard anything like blaming him for anything. So
There's not as much. Kawhi is so quiet. There's not as much hatred, for lack of a better word, around him. So I think that majorly factors in to what's going on for LeBron here, for Kawhi here.
you
Yeah,
got
it's
Doc
just,
Rivers. I mean, you got Paul George. I mean, he's an easy scapegoat because he
yeah,
wasn't shooting that well earlier in the
yeah.
playoffs.
I don't
But
know because either way, it took that was Game 7 that they lost in. So it's
yeah,
like
3-1
you
lead,
let it get that
3-1 lead.
far, yeah.
It's disappointing to see because you would love to see the Clippers versus
Oh yeah, that would have
the
been a
Lakers. But I
phenomenal
mean,
series.
maybe the Nuggets can give them a challenge. I don't know. it's just tough to go against, LeBron James and Anthony Davis at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, before we get into our next segment, let's get a word from our sponsor.
Why Am I a Nerd podcast network has been brought to you by our sponsor, Me Moms. The best breakfast and lunch down the Jersey Shore with 3 great locations in Wall Township, Middletown, and Brick, New Jersey. Me Moms specializes in unique and fun takes on your traditional lunch and breakfast items. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find more information at www.memoms.com.
All right, and we are back. So today we're going to talk about the 2021 NFL Hall of Fame class. They just released the first-year eligible players today. Before we go over that, I just want to say there's no set number of new enshrinees, but the committee's current ground rules do stipulate that between 4 and 8 new members will be selected each year. Now, when I read that doesn't make any sense to me, because there's no set of number of new enshrinees, but the committee says you can only pick between 4 and 8. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, like I was just like, wait a second. So there could be 100, but there has to be 4 and 8. Like, you shouldn't pick 10, but you're definitely not going to, because there needs to be 4 and 8. Every candidate is thoroughly reviewed and must receive approval from at least 80% of the full committee to be elected. So, because I was just looking for that, because if we do pick our own class here, I would say we wouldn't want to break their rules between 4 and 8 new members. And I think there's probably...
Sorry, I just got so excited.
Yeah.
I didn't look through the full list until just now, because I was like, I was trying to save the excitement so I can have a genuine reaction. That's exactly what just happened. Oh my God, there's so many players that I'm just excited about to see here. Sorry, but we'll digress.
And do you want to just go over the first year eligible players?
Yes. So quarterback, Peyton Manning.
Love it.
I think that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, if he didn't make it in, I'd be like, all right, someone's just being a dick. It'd be like the was it Jeter who won?
Yeah, the person that one person voted against him.
Yeah, like just to be an asshole.
I guarantee that happens with Peyton Manning.
It'd be so ridiculous. Like, what excuse could you possibly have?
Wide receivers, Calvin Johnson.
Megatron, first ballot. Let's go. That's my guy. Oh my God, I love Calvin Johnson so much. He's probably so cursed his luck that he had the misfortune. Oh yeah, 100%, million times. I'll put all my votes. I don't care how many votes we get. I'm putting them all on Calvin Johnson. Actually, no, I'm not, because there's somebody else. There's 2 other guys on here that I really want to see get into.
And then we also got Wes Welker and Roddy White for wide receivers.
I didn't realize, did they all walk away at the same time? Like, I didn't realize that that Welker had been out of the league for that long, and that Roddy had been out of the league for that short. It feels like Roddy's been gone forever.
I don't know how it works. Is it based on when you leave that last year that it's like X amount of years after?
Yeah, I think you need like 5 years out, maybe more, maybe less. I'm not sure.
Tight end Heath Miller, and running back Steven Jackson. Offensive line DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Logan Mankins. Defensive backs, we have Charles Tillman and Charles Woodson.
Let's go.
Charles Woodson, yeah, that's a good. I agree with that one. And then defensive linemen Jared Allen, Justin Tuck, and Kevin Williams.
Justin Tuck was my favorite Giant, tied with Eli Manning for the longest. He was just such a good dude.
Class act.
Yeah, went to, I'll give
Notre Dame
college choice.
Go Irish.
Man, dude, I just love Justin Tuck. I actually really wished he had taken a front office position, because I just still want him involved with the franchise, like just a true to form Giant. I mean, he actually won a game for the Raiders after he left, which broke my heart. He won a game for the Raiders simply by being a good leader. You know what I mean? He was the one who got Khalil Mack, and I forget who the other defensive end was. He's like, get back on the ball. He's like, they can snap it right now, and you guys are downfield. He was the reason they were able to secure a win. So you got to love the guy. Love Justin Tuck.
From your first year eligible, I mean, I think you automatically have to say Peyton Manning and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question
about
that.
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. I would throw Wes Welker in there too.
I mean, here's my thing, though, with the receivers. If you go and look at the actual list of people that are eligible, it's like pretty crazy on.
Yeah. I have it pulled up right now. I'm looking. It's a lot of Yeah, it's good.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of Wes Welkers, guys that like are on the brink of like that could make it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
Welker's
really
played
tough.
he's got a couple records, played in a couple Super Bowls. I mean, it's you're right. He's a heavy brink. I'd lean towards yes for him. But
Ant, read the receivers overall. And then you'd have to pick if you had to pick one other than Wes or one including Wes Welker. I think there might be some contenders.
Donald Driver, Henry Ellard, Torrey Holt, Chad Johnson, Derek Mason, Musin Mohammed, Jimmy Smith, Rod Smith, Hines Ward, and Reggie Wayne.
wow.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you have a Reggie Wayne, a Hines Ward. Those are guys that just like did it for so long, and
Yeah,
I
and
think
at the highest level, these guys
when
are
you look
legends.
at like actually who like if you're an offensive lineman or defensive lineman and it's your first year, there's no way you're getting in.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would love to see Tuck do it off the bat, but I think he's probably second ballot at this point.
Yeah,
Jared Allen, I think, as a legendary as Jared Allen was, like he was a fucking phenomenal player. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think the defensive
you have
players gotta
so
go.
many defense. Like it's unreal. It's like some of the best defensive linemen that have ever played, and they're just still just sitting there waiting for their
Yeah.
chance. Like the quarterbacks, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 because I think if you're a quarterback and you're nominated and you don't get in that first time, it's going to be tough to get in
Yeah.
because you're either like you were the guy or you weren't. Like Peyton Manning, automatic first ballot, boom, in.
Yeah.
Same thing
He's
with
good to
like
go.
running backs. You got a little Tiki Barber on there, still eligible to get in. Mike Allstott, Sean Alexander, Corey Dillon, Warwick Dunn, Eddie George, Priest Holmes, Jamal Lewis. I mean, there's a lot of good running backs. It's just tough.
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker also.
Wow.
Is there a position? Oh, I guess you can make it as a special teamers, as a kick returner.
Yeah, it says also kick return.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they only have 1, 2, 3, 4 special teams on here. 4 candidates. Josh Cribbs, Mel Cray, Brian Mitchell, and Steve Tasker.
I mean, like the defensive backs, you have Rodney Harrison, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Alan Rossum, Darren Woodson, Troy Vincent, Asante Samuel. Guys are just still sitting there, like haven't even had the opportunity after their first time.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of Broncos players.
Yeah. The
Wow.
offensive lineman, like that one's crazy because you just have it has to be impossible to make it as an offensive lineman because
You've got to be nuts. You know what I mean? You've got to be because you never hear offensive lineman mentioned unless it's something bad. So it's like to be a good one. To Brickashaw Ferguson, I think definitely fits the bill. But
right. But would you put him or Chris Snehan?
I mean, personally, I'm very biased there.
You have Willie Anderson, Matt Burke, Tony Baselli, Lomas Brown, Ruben Brown, Alan Feneca, Jordan Gross, Kent Hull, Olin Kreutz, longtime Bears center, Chris Samuels, Jeff Saturday for the Colts.
Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like the guys on here are just unreal. That it just shows you how good you have to be to get into the Hall of Fame. And I know that the NFL does like a weird thing where like they have guys on there and then like after their 6th year they'll finally get in because they don't have like enough people between the 4 and 8 people they have to put in. They fill spots, which is bizarre because I think if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer, like you shouldn't have to wait.
Yeah, you should just be good to go.
You should be good. Actually, side note, have you ever been to the NFL Hall of Fame?
No, I haven't. I'm probably going to go when Eli gets enshrined.
So I've gone twice. I went once as a kid with my grandparents, and then me and Miami Cam stopped there on the way to South Bend, and it's a pretty cool thing, just with like the memorabilia and stuff.
That is pretty sweet. It would be cool to walk around in there.
Yeah, it's insane. There's like a lot of interactive things. I remember when I went as a little kid, you would watch like an old school game. And then you would have you'd set out like a station and you'd pick what play you thought they were going to run next. and it would just eliminate people off the board. So like if you got
that's
eliminated,
cool.
you had to leave until they had like a champion.
That's
Huh.
sweet.
That was really cool.
There was a lot of cool stuff, and I remember I think I went right after the Giants lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl, so I got to relive those moments on like their theater, their whole theater thing they had going on. Looking at these lists though of people that are eligible now, is there anybody that like pops out at you that you would think should be in?
But I
Oh,
think
you didn't include Jeremy Shockey as a tight end in here. He's on the list.
is he really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Does Shockey even have the? I mean, Shockey was good. Don't get me wrong, but does he have the resume really to make it in?
I don't. No, I don't think. I don't think he does.
so either.
I personally don't think any of these tight ends on here would even. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 guys on there.
Yeah, I can't really.
It's just that's one of those spots that it's like quarterback. Like you're either in or you're not. You know, like you made a. You know, what if Rob Gronkowski's on there? Do you think he makes it into the Hall
Oh
of
yeah,
Fame?
Gronk. If Gronk's on there, Gronk makes it in, no question, first ballot. Gronk's probably the greatest tight end to ever play the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Well, all right. So you think about it, like tight end. There's usually one solid guy on the team, and then you have to compete with like the offensive lineman. There's 5 offensive linemen. There's gonna be way more obviously options to get in.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than quarterback or tight end, but you could see it. I mean, you got even the kickers, like they're guys from. You have Jeff Eagles still on there.
Huh.
I mean, if you go through there, I mean, the kickers are around forever. You have David Akers, Gary Anderson, Jason Elam, Jason Hansen. I mean, there's so many guys that like bring back memories from just either playing like video games back in the day or like just playing Madden or something, or just watching football in general. Is there anybody on this list though you think should be in? I mean, I don't know who.
I mean,
I don't even know. I mean,
those surefire guys.
It's tough. There's just so many. It puts things in perspective as far as like the NFL goes, like how many talented players there are.
Yeah, no, it
And
definitely does.
for guys that have like these long careers. I mean, think how many guys are on each team, and then you look at the list of how many eligible players there are. It's really actually small in comparison to how many people actually play.
True. Yeah, it's nuts to be able to be this good for this long. But I mean, we know who's making it in off the bat. I think there's 2 players here we can say are definitely getting in first ballot. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, some of these extended guys, it's tough. Like I'm really curious what criteria they actually use to kind of break things down and put one over another. Like what kind of voting or tier system they utilize.
I think part of it's luck too, because you got to just fit in at the right time. Like I said before, they're trying to fill spots sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's if you're the best guy out of the pool, you can make it in, even if it's like your 6th year on the list. But you heard it here first. Peyton Manning, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, facts.
Matt, where can they find us?
Well, everyone, if you weren't paying attention the first time or any of the other 16 times, you can find us on Instagram at WhyAmIANerdOfficial. That's WHY, letter I, AMA, Nerdofficial. On Facebook and YouTube at WhyAmIANerd, again, WHY. On Twitter at 4th, that's the number 4, TH and 1, WON pod. Please like, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated.
Cameron James would like me to tell everyone we will be airing this on Monday on YouTube and all our other podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
A new update.
No. He just wants to say he won't be able to get to edit it on time based on when we're doing it. So we will be on Monday instead of Sunday for everyone that tunes in on the date we're released. Other than that, everyone stay tuned for our first game day episode of Dimes a Dozen, a New York Giants segment, mini podcast, 2 4th and 1. So I'd just like to thank everyone for watching and listening today. I'm Sean.
And I'm Matt.
Catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Football Giants.